What's up, guys? So, I wanted to give my nominee for Best Christian Album of like 2025, 2026 is the Forrest Frank Child of God album, guys. I'm literally blown away by this album because, it is generally like so good. You know, I love when albums, just from a music appreciation standpoint, when you have songs that are high quality, like every single album and track in the album, because so many artists can struggle with consistently making those high quality or high you know good sounding songs, and so anyway, the other reason I wanted to make this video is because the Child of God album, I think, is so missed, especially in regards to views on YouTube, guys. Now, I don't know his overall view count as far as the other ways people listen to music, but, especially for the YouTube community, guys, for the Christian YouTube community, maybe you don't know about Forrest Frank, or you don't know about his Child of God album, or you may not have listened to it yet. Because I know it took me a while to even, listen to the Forrest Frank Child of God album myself. I discovered Forrest Frank, I think, from the local Christian radio station in my area, guys. The light, not Life is Good. That's a different song that I highly recommend. And then Well Done off of the Child of God album is like such a perfect song. Um, but then, you know, um, Good Day is the first song I think I ever heard from Forrest Frank that, I ever, I think it's probably one of his first songs that, went nationwide. I don't know. But that's, I think, the song where I discovered, oh, wow, this is a good, sounding song, good lyrics. Like, this is a good, Christian song. Because, guys, I've just been saying this to myself too, that I do think the Christian industry, which, as we state, are like the group of people that are literally the only group of people that are right with the God of the universe in the entire world, our music needs to be better, Um, and I do think that we are doing great in the category of like the worship category, where we have these great worship type songs, or in, for I know my African American community, the gospel movement. Maybe for a different community, it could be the contemporary Christian music community. And I think those industries and those genres and those styles of music are great and much needed and is, awesome, But I do think in regards to this, um, the genres for maybe indie or pop or even hip hop, or more, I don't know, uh, I guess you could almost use the term party style music, or just like a more uplifting style of music, not necessarily in a, I do think that even though a lot of Christian music also, guys, I could do a whole video on, analyzing Christian music sometimes, at least I feel like I have a lot to say about it. But, you know, I do think there's a lot of good Christian artists out there too. But I do think we need to also take elements that we have done really well in our worship songs and translate those great lyrics, those awesome God exalting lyrics into these other genres, And I think that's one unique part about Forrest Frank is he does seem to integrate the worship of God in his music, not necessarily the focus on making a good sounding beat or sound instrumental, and also um, not necessarily focusing the song on your personal testimony in life, because I think that's another thing that, we do even in, like our hip hop songs, or, pop or indie, is that, we're focused on, our kind of testimony of walking with Jesus and stuff like that, which I think those songs are much needed too. They can minister to you too. But also, there's another category that I think Forrest Frank is really, opening the door to as well, guys. Because, just like they say with AI, AI is only going to get better. I think with artists like Forrest Frank, guys, his music is only going to get better from here. And to think about like Child of God album being his second album, I think that he's made, you know, um, I'm excited to see, what Forrest Frank comes out with in the future too. And, I think in his genre, he's the equivalent to probably my personal favorite, Phil Wickham, in the contemporary worship category. Um, I've been listening to Phil Wickham for years, but also I've seen the growth in Phil Wickham music, guys, where he's consistently putting out high quality, um, you know, God worshiping, God exalting lyric, uh, high quality lyric, music, guys. And so, I would say Phil Wickham is one of those top artists too. Now, there's also a whole bunch of great artists. I don't want to necessarily, uh, put so much spotlight on Forrest Frank or something, or too much spotlight on Phil Wickham. You know, um, I was thinking it would be great to hear, creation from Jesus, right? In many different categories, right? Wouldn't we love to get more, even from the Gospels? I personally, focus in on, like the words of Jesus a lot. And it would be great to have a whole book, from Jesus, just, what he wants to tell us in, just a book, just, all of Jesus's words. Now, obviously, the Bible in general is all of Jesus's words, but I mean, especially through the Holy Spirit. But I mean, that word for word kind of deal from Jesus, as you see in parts of the Gospels, is what I'm talking about. So anyway, if you haven't checked out Forrest Frank's Child of God album, I do think it's underviewed compared to, how great of an album it is, guys. And so I just wanted to give that, put this video out there. I know I don't have a lot of views on YouTube myself, guys. So, but maybe someone will see this title and be like, hey, maybe I'll check out the album. So, anyway, see ya.